tonight, and I'm Yu, the first speaker of our team. In this video, we're going to convince you that patriots may enjoy historical movies, but supporting all historical movies doesn't mean that you are patriots. First of all, I'm going to define the topic. There are three main keywords in our topic: historical movies, supporting, and patriotism. History is a science. It requires authenticity and evidence. Though there is a sense of bias to some extent towards one nation, it doesn't severely or necessarily affect what actually happened. And about movies, they serve as a form of entertainment. They play an important role in human mental well-being. So, historical movies are fiction movies showing past events or set within a historical period. As being a movie, it requires profits and public recognition. But in fact, many people watch movies for the sake of the entertainment without taking care to validate the accuracy of the content. And how can we support a movie? Like, supporting a movie means following and claiming it from the very first day of the trailer until its premiere, as well as voting for the movies at the award ceremonies, no matter what its content is. Next, I'm gonna clarify the concept of patriotism. There is no exact definition, but in general, patriotism or national pride is the feeling of love, devotion, and sense of attachment to the homeland. It includes a combination of feelings for every aspect relating to the country, like culture, history, ethnicity. It requires more than just words to express. National pride truly stands out in the midst of darkness. More specifically, when facing invasion and deprivation of liberty, all of us, regardless of age or status, fight for our country without any hesitation. When suffering from natural disaster like severe weather or pandemics, we join hands together to relieve our fellow citizens. Now, we're going to demonstrate two main thesis statements. First, supporting historical movies is simply supporting a movie genre. Second, profits separate historical movies from patriotism. In the end, we will put forward approaches of expressing patriotism as well as making a comparison between the two potential views to reach the ultimate conclusion of a given topic.
So, hi, I'm He, and I'll be discussing our first thesis statement. First of all, movies, regardless of genre, express certain qualities of entertainment. So what makes historical movies entertaining? Well, let's answer this question first. Why is history alone considered a dual and theoretical subject, but when adapted to the big screen, the so-called boring history becomes much more interesting? Well, here's the reason. History studied through textbook with limited illustrations and details does not arouse many feelings and thoughts. On the other hand, watching historical movies is like stepping into a time machine and going back in time. In this way, historical events are no longer described through emotionless words, but you yourself witness it. During this cinematic experience, we are able to see real emotions on people's faces and real action, not just motionless pictures from textbook. So such movies induce emotional and authentic reactions to a historical period which we have no personal experience of. All these roller coasters of emotions are one key reason why we love historical movies so much. WMU Professor of Communication Steve Lipkin said that historical movies often click with audiences simply because they are compelling stories. So historical movies in this case don't differ much from those belonging to the Marvel Universe. With such a glorious past as us, Vietnamese historical films earn the favor of foreigners without them manifesting love for the nation. Personally, I am fascinated by the British culture and history shown in movies, but that doesn't mean my betrayal to my own country. Another example is that critics can freely have low opinions of films about their own history, and that also doesn't mean they look down on their country. Such noble things such as history are not meant to be judged, but in the form of movies, they are doomed to be criticized. So what I'm trying to say here is that movies are a form of art, and everyone has the freedom to like and dislike that kind of art. And whether you support all historical movies or not does not affect your love for the country.
My name is Ian, and I'm the next person to analyze the second claim. That is, historical movies are still movies. They are all the purpose than simply retelling past events. So let's begin. Movies are a source of entertainment, so each of them require profit and public recognition, with the going mind producer under the pressure of creating content that will appeal to the viewers. People most of the time seek movies for the sake of being entertained without taking care to validate the accuracy of the content. So like any other type of film, the majority of history movies are not repeating facts, but rather show or interest viewers and capture their attention. So they have to adjust an art history to invent a movie plot that appeals to the public. Movies are also a mass medium that heavily influence belief and ideas and the public spirits. Historical is vulnerable. The value of history will be neglected if its authenticity is not preserved through distorted mass belief. Once there are wrong depictions in history movies, The real history can be replaced by false knowledge from what has been seen. So, for example, in the famous Pearl Harbor, for the battle to be more drastic, mortality rates and the loss of warship and aircraft were inflated. The events shown in film can contain made-up details that view a more dramatic, exciting version of history, even if it provokes patriotism in the public. That's false patriotism. This can become a much more prevalent issue once certain film producers realize that can benefit from such censure and make money through people who support them in the name of patriotism. So at last, they would eventually capitalize history.
Hello, I'm Hu, and I'm the last speaker of Team House tonight. And to further rationalize our disagreement, we shall discuss another implication of supporting historical movies. As mentioned, I believe that supporting such movies doesn't simply involve watching them. Supporting means praising such movies under the name of patriotism, combined with the marketing of filmmakers and how this potential industry is struggling due to the lack of domestic investment and materials. These movies are known to be gaining an unconditional defense and are made way for it to develop and or idolized. Its supporters would condemn all falsifications, which would certainly occur in view of the aforementioned commercialization. Not only will it be a disgrace to the nation's past, disrespectful to the truth, but it will also be very misleading regarding how the gullible would mistake backing off for all movies of that genre for actually being patriotic. The fact is that most film producers firms aren't even government-owned, so making this industry even bigger than it is right now does not make a profit for anyone but capitalist enterprises who are yearning for making money, even at the expense of devaluing the nobility of history, which is obviously harmful to a nation. To exemplify a nation with a thriving film industry, among which historical movies are one of the most outstanding, China have been constantly making new laws against the potential misinterpretation of history on the media. Many films of this genre were removed from streaming platforms due to the increasing trend of history being distorted, saying that they are too entertaining. The act of China is controversial, but it proves that government are not exactly in favor of historical movies. Vietnam, on the other hand, barely puts any curb on the making of films. If things get out of hand, there is no certainty that the generations after us will not forget the true history with respect to how influential movies are. In that scenario, the original spirits of our nation would eventually die, and who knows, one day there will be no one to care about what they really are about the nation to be admirable of. True patriots wouldn't put the well-being of their nation at risk, and patriotism wouldn't lead the country to a dim future with no citizens caring about history. Thank you.